Hi, my name is Carlton Smith, and I want to share with you today the story of my clan connection, my namesake, Charlie James. And Charlie is here today to introduce himself in the Tlingit language. Take it away, Charlie.
Slizkuhus, Aksanihus, Akuthus, Akishus, Chastakat Wait Yachene.
And now let's hear about your name.
Shanakawa Yakatusak, Chak Ayachat, Dakloredi Ayachat, Ganakte de Dachkan Ayachat, Keet Gushi Hit Dach Ayachat, Tlakwan Kwan.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Shanakawa is his name, and the name means in the image of the ancient people. And Charlie has quite a history as my namesake. I've done a little bit of research on him, and it turns out that in his profile, among others, he was a founder of the Alaska Native Brotherhood, originally from Killisnoo, and today would be about 106 years old. And Charlie was the best friend of Walter Sobloff, so as Walter tells me. And he wants to sing you a Keet Gushi Hit song, which I first heard at the age of 16 at my naming party. And it goes like this.
Hey, 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 ha, hey, 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 ha, hey. Hey, 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 ha, hey, hey, ha, 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 hey. Hey, 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 ha, hey, 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 ha, hey. Hey, 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 ha, hey, ha, 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 hey, ha, ha, hey.
And after this naming party, which took place in Klukwan, and I was 16 years old at the time, the naming party was led by two of the elders of the Keet Gushi Hit. One was Fritz Willard, who at that time was living in Cake, and the other was Edwin Casco, who was the head man of the Keet Gushi Hit in Klukwan. And as a young professional, I had an opportunity to travel throughout the region, going to all of the more remote villages, Angoon, Hoona, Cake, Prince of Wales, and whenever I would travel in these communities, I would ask the elders that I would meet, do you know this man, Shanakawa? And it was quite remarkable that at that time, and I was privileged to be able to interact with people in those years, would have been the late 70s and early 80s, people would recognize this name, and they would know of this house, and they would know of this man and his leadership. He was a very religious man, and while he spoke very little English, he was a true subsistence, I call him a subsistence professional. And while he was originally from Killisnoo, he resided in Klukwan about the last 50 years of his life. At a very young age, I became interested in ventriloquism and actually had my first figure when I was 10 years old. But it wasn't until later that I developed an interest in connecting the Tlingit language with ventriloquism, as you see today. And when I was 10 years old, I became bedridden, and that time was living in Haines. I was in bed for several months during a brief illness. The first figure that I had, his name was Jerry. I would perch him up on the ledge in my bedroom window on the second floor of this apartment, and as the young children would come home from grade school, they would motion to Jerry, and Jerry would speak to them. And I found after several days that on their way home, these crowds became a few assembled, and then a dozen assembled, and then a much larger group. And I realized that unless I put a cap on this activity, that I would be obligated to greet these children every afternoon. So quick thinking, I decided that Jerry had to leave the scene, and I made a false grave below a tree just off of my bedroom window. And the children one day came up asking for Jerry, and I informed them that Jerry had passed away. And one of the children, his name was Davy, threw up his arms and ran away hysterical, only to arrive at his mother's house, telling his mother that there was something seriously wrong at this house. Because this little green man in a little green suit had died, and these people had buried him beneath this tree. Then later, my father, who was a teacher, was called into the superintendent's office, and he had to explain what was going on in this house. But that was the beginnings of my affinity with ventriloquism. And it wasn't until 2010, on a flight from Juneau to Anchorage, that I realized I could speak some of the language without moving my lips. Then I sat down with Walter, and I conferred with Walter Soboleff and asked him if I wanted to go forward utilizing the Tlingit language with ventriloquism, how might I do that? And Walter schooled me early on. He said, well, you know that's something people are going to make fun of you with, and you're not going to be able to survive the criticism. So Walter's suggestion was for us to create a new figure, but in the image of the person that I was named after. So I set out to find one of the world's leading puppet makers, and we were able to commission this figure over about a year and a half's time. So we set out to commission a new figure, and I worked with this figure maker in Detroit, Michigan. We worked off of historic photographs. As I mentioned, Charlie was a founder of the A&B, and we worked with his hair color, of course, the eyebrows. Search actually donated these glasses to us, but I was most concerned about the skin tone and just his overall appearance as being an older gentleman, in this case from Killisnoo. But it's the animation that attracts children, and this is where we have fun, and we draw them in because of the animation. And I was privileged for the last actually 2.5 years to work with Tlingit Haida Central Council and the Head Start program to work with preschoolers, and Charlie had a good time too.
Okay, are you finished? Enough about you. Let's talk about me. I'd like to sing a little song, if that's okay.
What would you like to sing, Charlie?
Well, because I was a very religious guy, I'd like to sing a religious song. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, well, this is a Billy Graham crusade song that we had in the 50s and 60s. It's one of my favorite.
And what's it called?
It's called In the Garden.
Okay, how does it go?
I walk through the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God exposes. And he walks with me and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. away, ha, hey, hey, ha, ha, away. Hey, 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 ha, hey, 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 ha, hey. Hey, 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 ha, hey, hey, ha, ha, away, ha, hey, hey, ha, ha, away, ha, hey. So what's next? Can I count to 10 for the kids? Huh? Would you like that?
Sure, let's go ahead.
Click, dick, nuts, dakun, pagin, kledusha, dakadusha, nutskadusha, gushuk. Here's the best one. Shinkat, yay! Good, huh? Yeah, that was real fine. Tuye Closetine. See you again.
Thank you.